What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Stories. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while. We got the Sky Ripper. We got the Sky Stripper. Oh, a crafting bench. I know what I can craft with it. I can make myself a... Oh, I can't make myself a void sword. Well, never mind then. I was getting all excited and husky about the prospects of making a void blade because I want to hit people with the distilled essence of darkness, destruction, chaos, and decay. But unfortunately, they're not going to let me have that kind of fun in this episode. Maybe the next one. Maybe we'll start having the real fun in the next episode. For now, though, we've got a super awesome doomsday weapon that has a 1 in 128 chance of destroying the universe every single time we fire it. I thought those odds sounded pretty good to win just like a random battle that was going to wipe out my people. I'd be like, well, it's kind of like having a nuke. If your people are going down anyways, you might as well take the enemy with you and make them suffer for it. Nobody gets to stay on the battlefield if I don't get to stay on the battlefield. I like nuclear options like that. In video games, I love having my thumb on the doomsday button and just being like, haha, you didn't let me win, therefore nobody wins. And then I cackle and I blow up the whole universe. They removed the option from me in this game, though. They were like, nah, you don't have a choice. You're not going to fire the sky.
It was heavily guarded. Let's go someplace they really didn't want it to go.
Let's see if I can maybe... I got out of the way of that one. I call shenanigans. Shenanigans. Oh no, he's explodey. I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past, but the explodey enemies kind of terrify me. They wiped me out in the previous episode. And they were a bit more difficult than I thought. It's just mostly don't throw them. That's what it comes down to, is like I wanted to use them like a grenade. And that's a bad plan. With the way the enemies clump up on you and get super close, wouldn't use them as a grenade. It's a bad plan, and you're eventually going to blow yourself up.
Ever had a castle? He was going to hide his stuff better.
How could we not have a castle by the end of this adventure? We could just have people pay us not to use the Sky Ripper on them at this point. Like, well, I could blow up the universe if you don't send me a monthly stipend of like, oh, I don't know, couple mil. I'm not greedy. Just send it over. My darker side is beginning to show. I am going to heal myself with the radiant power of magic and friendship, if Disney has taught me anything.
Renato really liked the sound his sword made in the air.
I like the sound his sword makes when it strikes wooden objects full of treasure and also knocks over that flag, I guess. I wasn't planning on knocking over anybody's battle standard right now, and I do feel kind of douchey about it, but maybe it was a battle standard of evil. Maybe it was a battle standard that we did not want standardized. I can either go that way or I can go that way. Let's go this way. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Exactly. I could get jumped by a bunch of bad guys that have wanted to murder me since the beginning of the game anyway. Ow! See, that's the other problem, is they have infinite range, and so I don't know if you've noticed that, but the bad guys can jump across the entire screen to hit you. So basically, once they start the attack animation, unless you go kind of cat-a-corner to them with a dash...
Where'll the ravens go? The live ones, I mean.
As long as you're within a straight line of them, they can go from all the way over here to like all the way over here if they really want to. Got to account for that, I guess. And again, that's how combat works for us as well, so... I don't know if it's really something worth complaining about since I can jump across the entire battlefield too. It's all about equalization. That's like people used to have problems in board games with people moving diagonally in like tabletop games. They'd be like, it'd be unfair for the bigger tile models. And I'd be like, yeah, but nobody cares about them. They suck. That'll probably blow him up or something. Oh, I executed him on accident. I didn't want to do that. The plan was not execution there. The plan was elocution. I was going to try and explain my way out of this. But I think we're well past the point of conversation now. Perfect combat on that side. No level ups, though, so unfortunately we won't have any...
Told him the odds didn't change just because you'd had a streak of good luck. His gut told him that was wrong, though. And he always listened to his gut. On the other hand, 128 chances to win. But one of them would destroy the universe. That seemed a bit serious. Maybe he could defeat the Emperor without firing the Sky Ripper. Maybe he could bluff, but with a real weapon. Like in cards, when you had 3 knaves, but you pretended you had a fizzbin. That could work.
I love it when I have a fizzbin.
A pirate captain who used hooks to get around his ship. What was his name again?
I had a Fizbin one time in Reno, but then they took me out back and broke my fingers. Those damn Fizbins. Always getting you in trouble. Nobody ever trusts a Fizbin. I need you to no longer exist, please. If I could just get rid of him, I think I could finally be happy. Is that all it would take? Is what my dad would normally say right there. Looks like I can parry the shields, too. Aw, there's one left. The singular survivor. See, that's the real offensive thing here. It's not that they're trying to stab me with swords, it's just they smell bad. They smell bad, and I like to live in a perfumed universe. Nah. I am curious to see what we do with this weapon. I guess you could just bluff with it and be like, I'm going to shoot you if you don't stop being a dick. I guess that might always be an option there, but...
Imagine getting a horse up in one of these things. It would be cursing a blue streak.
Is he Mr. Ed? Because in my experience, what the hell is that? Enchanters buff and heal enemies. Buff ravens are very, very dangerous. Okay, so this guy just allows us to get rid of the creatine here. I'm okay with it. Let's get rid of the creatine. Oof, sorry about that, everybody. My game's been crashy today. It's been weirdly crashy today, and I don't know, it doesn't crash when I play by myself, so I'm assuming, like, what you do when you do YouTube recordings like this is you have to assume that, like, recording software does very, very unnatural things to games. Games don't like naturally being recorded. They just do not like it because it requires the recording software to grab onto things that normally are ungrabbed and ungroped. And so, unfortunately, are you trying to res the dead guy on the ground? I hope not. Here, get back over here. But yeah, anyways, sorry about that. We're going to lose a little bit of gameplay there, and there's not going to be a whole lot that I can do about it. I am going to break your shield and get you out of my face real fast. I was ready for it. I know when you're coming at me. I know when you're coming. Although, you could technically use their little thing against them to get your combo counter up like really, really, really high. So let's say that you just don't kill the enemies. Oh shit.
He set up the Sky Ripper and let it warm up. He would bluff if he had to. Zenobia came out, flanked by a very daunting platoon of ravens. You won't actually use that, she said in that annoying, I know everything because I'm a cat and you know nothing because you're just a fox voice she had. Oh, I know the odds. Good. Because there's a real chance you could destroy the universe. No, not the first time I use it. The odds are too low. What? No? Yeah, sure. The first time, the odds are practically nothing. They only go up if I use it a bunch more times. No, but that's not how odds work. Didn't you pay attention in class? Now surrender, or I'll use it. Just once, he said. Don't. He felt sure the odds were with him. You have to go with his gut. That's what heroes do. Fire, he said. Please? The Sky Ripper fired. With a tremendous whoosh, the Emperor's flagship went up in flames. It was awesome. And then he noticed there was a hole in the air. A blackness, like a tear in a parchment. Wind was blowing into it, widening it. It grew larger, and even larger. Crates fell upwards into it, and the world itself seemed bent, like the reflection on a curved mirror, as it poured into the ravenous hole. Ah, 1 in 128. What are the odds? Thought Fernando, and then everything fell into the hole and was gone.
There are no good...
Stared at the book. He was still alive. Again. And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? Or only dreamt it? Had he really died? It felt so real, not like a dream at all. And he'd lost again. Oh, he hated that. But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill. But he'd learned another true thing. The core was powerful, but dangerous if used improperly.
Well, damn. I didn't think we'd lose on a 1 in 28. I thought that was a win for sure, and I realized that we're dealing with odds here. So yeah, you could roll the dice and get a 1 on a 1 to 128 roll the first time, but chances are it's not going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to gamble my life on it, but in this situation, we were going to die either way, so why not take the whole universe with us? I was not expecting that to happen. I was not expecting that to happen at all. Okay, well that leaves us with a couple of other little things. So what happens when we do 4 truths? Like, does this scramble a little bit and then we try to get like the more esoteric weird endings? I wonder if that could come out either way. Like if the game checks, it does like a probability check at the beginning and we just got really, really, really supremely unlucky. Although in the span of things, if it does do that, we got incredibly lucky as far as the game goes. We got an ending that very few people are actually going to be able to get. I doubt that that's how it works though, strongly. I wouldn't program my game to work like that just because you'd have those people that just would play it over and over and over again until they die. I just feel bad for them.
But that meant there must be a destiny where he survived and won, right? Otherwise, what was the point? And with that, the book's pages fluttered back once more to the beginning, and the clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Yes, he could. I think we should go after the Iblis stone this time around. I'm going to try and chase down different leads every single time so that it at least stays interesting. And then right about the time you all get bored with the series, I'll just do something else. But for now, let's go and find the temple, build the Sky Stripper. I'm wondering, or the Sky Ripper, I'm wondering if we could use it on the base earlier to avoid a catastrophic explosion. Like we just use it on the Raven base in the first place. And then that would demoralize the enemy and make it so we could win the final battle. Like, I'm guessing we're going to have to pick the same option we've done before, but then make different choices inside of that story at some point. There are a lot of truths and, like, a ton of endings. So I would guess that we got to follow each one down. But for right now, in the interest of keeping things fresh and interesting, I'll probably pick a new option every time.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Renato went ostrich hunting.
I don't think I've ever had ostrich. Maybe I have. I've seen that challenge that they make people do where you gotta eat a hard-boiled ostrich egg, and that seems gnarly as hell.
Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals?
I would never give away my jewels. It's just, if you got that gone,
Crafting bench. Renato wondered,
what's the point? What's the point? I need like 7 more ore and then we can make this void blade. This thing is so expensive though. This thing is crazy expensive, but I bet it opens up all kinds of cool stuff. Because all the good doors we've seen with like the real amounts of treasure, I counted those as they came out. We weren't going to have enough. I was like, we need at least 6 or 7. Otherwise, it's not going to be enough. And it wasn't. It was like, here's 3. And I was like, nah! That's the noise that I made, but I didn't make it like into the microphone. Because I felt like it would be disruptive to the series. There we go. There's that good shit. Now we make ourselves the Void Blade. And maybe if we had the Void Blade, we could have stopped like the sky. It doesn't work like that, but still. It's a blade of shadow and evil. Maybe it could have helped us not destroy the universe.
This sword from the mystical East could make time itself slow for you.
Ooh. It makes us super speedy, huh? It looks badass, too. How much faster does it... Oh, it makes me a lot faster. But damn, does it drain that magical energy. I mean, all that I really wanted from this thing was to open up more doors, so...
The air here tasted bitter. The steps were too tall for a person. The entire place felt restless. Like it had been vexed to nightmare under the dust. Waiting for its hour to come around at last.
That kind of looked like a door right there. Oh, man. That's how it's gonna be, huh? How's it gonna be? Man, road trips get expensive. I had like a 7-hour drive twice this weekend. And for real, I don't think I've ever spent that much money on iTunes before. It got rough. It got rough. Rougher than it needed to be. Far rougher than it needed to be. I was like, well, I guess we'll just buy a whole bunch of new albums. Oh, don't want to do that. I didn't realize that was one of the explodey ones. I hadn't noticed because I'm not observant.
The Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. And he hadn't come too late. I'd have hoped his mother wasn't watching.
Why does his mother like naturally align herself with like pots? I don't. She does not want me to break stuff, because breaking stuff is really, really fun. It's super fun. Breaking stuff is the best. That's why Limp Bizkit wrote a song about it. It only had 2 notes. Na 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 na. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Oh, you guys thought. Oh, I think I teleported out of that one. I'm gonna call shenanigans. Oh man, they're getting me. Yeah, you gotta go first. You gotta go big time first. You're buffed. Does it make me hit harder with the Void Blade? Man, once they're buffed, they stay buffed, I guess? I don't know if he's supposed to stay like that. It's weird. Like, sometimes I feel like it teleports me to the enemy and I get a hit no matter how far away I am. And then other times it just feels like it's like, nah, and then it decides not to do that. It said something about my combo counter having to be at a certain level before it would work, but I was at like a plus 40 over there, so I'm not sure why it didn't jump me over and I lost my combo. I'm not going to stress about it because it's not that big of a deal.
Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure swords aren't supposed to be stiff. They're supposed to have like a flexibility to them, like in the really, really, really good swords. Let's break this thing open right here. We do have the ice blades, so we should be able to go through this. Perfect. Oh, really? There's nothing inside of those. I was getting all excited. Oh, there's a thingy over here. You have been chosen in this critical mission for your ability to follow orders to the letter without question. Do not believe the naysayers. Your score in the intelligence test is only proof that you are better geared than everyone else to follow orders. Take pride in knowing that I, your emperor, have handpicked you for this mission. Follow these instructions to the letter. Always travel in pairs. Do not look at the engravings on the wall. Do not lose the hermetic box. When you find the stone, immediately place it in the box and seal the box. If you hear a voice in your head, ignore it. The temple is haunted. Obviously, this is an old temple dedicated to an evil god. There were blood sacrifices. Of course it would be haunted. Ignore the voice in your head. Remember, the ghosts cannot hurt you, but they will try to confuse you. When you hear a voice, take the drowsy pill. If you meet another soldier with the stone and it is not immediately in the hermetic box, spray them with drowsy gas. Find the stone, put it in the box, seal the box, and most important of all, find the stone. I see a big red chest down there, and I find myself craving it.
Wait, what? How was he outside? Hadn't he taken an elevator into the depths of the earth?
I hope we get to get that big red chest down there. The big red chests have all the good stuff. That's how you get yourself the crazy good loot, like the gems and things. Now we can start working on level 2 spells too. Oh, no. No thank you. Duck around that. I'm gonna break his shield. He's gonna blow up over there anyways, and these guys are gonna be stuck, so that should solve my problem for me nicely. My combo counter is just gonna have to suffer, though. It's not gonna be getting all Rain Man on us today. Take me downwards and to the left. Yay! To the great red chest. That was not as far down and to the left as I expected to be going today. There you go. Blow up as you desire to blow up. I love you, Frosty Blade. I love Frosties, too. I had one yesterday at Wendy's, and it was delicious. Who doesn't love Frosties? Frosties are the best.
How we do it? Said Renato to himself.
Another level up. Although that vanilla Frosty shit, that's not okay. I don't even know why they bother. Like, vanilla Frosties, why? They've always been chocolate. Can't we just stick with tradition here? Why do we have to vary things so much? Looks like we got ourselves a new gem. Treasure Hunter. So what does that one do? Treasure Hunter said to increase the chance of rare loot by 1%. Okay. I think I'm alright with this in general. It's flagging this as though I don't have enough ore to really do anything with it, though.
How could a temple to Iblis still even exist? The Transcendent Emperor had destroyed all the shrines of the lost gods after exiling them. Had it been buried in that long-ago battle? Or had Iblis foreseen his fate and hidden it from his enemy?
Who knows, but I figure we're going to find out. Oh, look at that. It took me down to the third one. I can inflict damage on hooked enemies. I don't really care about that. Oh, that seems okay. We got sword magic. Increase your that one I'll probably go for really, really shortly. That'll more than likely be the next thing that I try to get after because, wait, what are those things? Okay, so we got to get a couple more truths. Need to get a couple more truths. I wonder if it starts telling us, like, the right way to go once we've got the 4 truths.
Sword from the east made you so fast you could catch a fly with your chopsticks. If that's what you really wanted.
You know, they call them chopsticks, but they don't really chop. They just pick stuff up. They should be called pick sticks. I've thought about this a lot. Or grasping sticks. But chopsticks, I've never chopped anything with a chopstick. If your chopstick is bladed, that seems like it would probably end up, unfortunately. Oh, look at that. He drags it on the ground like a ninja. That's pretty cool. I don't like you, explodey enemies. I don't like you at all. You upset me. I much prefer to be down set or left set. Doesn't matter. What do we get out of here? Another gem!
Magical jewel. Renato couldn't wait to find a workbench.
So that one gives us a chance at critical success. I do like crits. Crits have always been a thing that I've loved in video games and like tabletop medium. Getting a crit at the proper moment, there's nothing quite like it. I'm gonna start working on these shields early so that I don't have to work on them long term. Because usually by then it's too late anyways. There we go, that'll blow him up. Don't really care about the combo counter. Suppose I could, but it just doesn't seem to be that relevant to me right now. Ow, fire. I don't like that at all. Apparently foxes are flammable. Who knew? Who knew?
Could not get past this point. Obviously the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
Don't think I can do anything with the altar right now, so let's go. Oh my god. This is a big-ass dungeon. Well, my name is Splattercat. We're out of time for the day. I guess we'll continue our quest for the Iblis Stone in the next episode. Thank you for joining me here, and I will see you all in future episodes of Stories.